Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Mind Your Business. I am the TikTok Bayless, also known as Bryce, and I am joined by...
I'm Kenny Charles, and today we're doing the NFC North. We have a little bit of news from the NFL, and of course, we have the game trivia with TikTok Bayless. So, let's get into the NFL news. Ramondre Stevenson signed naturally a pretty big deal for the New England Patriots. It was 4 years, $36 million. I love the Patriots, as we mentioned last episode. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. That's a lot of money for running back. I will let the TikTok Bayless kind of go over a couple of little things here, and yeah, just crazy money.
Finally, the running backs are valued again. We are paying running backs premier money like it is the 2000s again. And I hate that it had to be a guy like Ramondre Stevenson, who's not really all that exceptional. But I will overpay for a running back because the running back in the history of football has always been your manliest premier position. That was what teams until the last 10 or 15 years have been built around, is running. Look at your teams like your Cleveland Browns back in the 50s and 60s with Jim Brown. Look at the Lions with Barry Sanders. Teams historically have been known to run the ball more, and I hope that this brings the running back market back to where it should be, where they're making the premier money and guys like quarterbacks and receivers aren't.
Yeah, I like wide receivers a lot because they're more entertaining most of the time. And I don't mind paying people like CMC. I know you hate him. I don't mind paying him. I don't mind paying Derrick Henry. I don't mind paying even, I guess, Nick Chubb. The injury, maybe I wouldn't want to pay him personally for my team, but boy, this seems like an overpay. Maybe I'm missing something, but $17 million guaranteed, $36 million. It's a lot of money for a guy that I thought was unproven. Little tidbit that Bryce had brought up is he might take the New England Patriots leading rushing title in 2 years at his current pace, 2 or 3 years. Yeah, 3.
If he averages, I think the article said 795 yards over the next 4 seasons, he officially becomes the all-time Patriots leading rusher with like 5,500 yards or something.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely
weird.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then good news for the Cincinnati Bengal fans, at least slightly. T. Higgins did sign his tender. He should be there. I'm sure he's still hoping to get traded or sign a bigger contract. Well, he can't sign a bigger contract now that he signed that, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you can after you sign your franchise tag. So maybe that's good news for Cincinnati. I'm sure that they would have rather just paid Chase, and been done with it, but that isn't what happened. Do you have anything about T. Higgins? Any thoughts or nothing really?
I mean, T. Higgins is great number 2. I've never really seen him as anything like super special. He's a great compliment to Jamar Chase, who is unquestionably the number 1 receiver there. He might be a top 5 receiver in the entire league, Jamar Chase. So nobody is going to be the number 1 receiver in Cincinnati unless your name is Davante Adams, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. Those are probably the 3. There are 2 definites, but Davante is a maybe, but the only 2 receivers who I could see overtaking Jamar Chase would be Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson, but he's a top 5 guy. You won't be the number 1 receiver in an offense that has Jamar Chase unless you're 2 of the 3 guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I could see that. I think a CeeDee Lamb or a Davante Adams could at least be in the conversation, but I'd still probably prefer Chase. His talent level is unquestionable. I think we might be short NFL news here, and we might be going straight into trivia with the TikTok Bayless. Are you ready, Bryce?
Let's do it.
All right. First 5 years receiving. Name the 10 wide receivers that have the most yards. I will give you a hint. JJ missed out by 1 spot. So he's 1 season short of that, obviously, 5-year mark. And he is on the cusp of potentially getting into the top 5 there, but
I wasn't even going to say him in the first place. I think that Randy Moss is 2
he is 2.
because Odell Beckham Jr. is 1.
Odell is not 1. Odell did not make the list.
Oh, that's right. If we were counting first 4, he would have, because the 5th season he broke his ankle. That's right. Mike Evans is on this list.
Mike Evans is number 6 with 6,100 yards. Randy Moss had 6,700. So 2 of the 10.
So then Jerry Rice would be on this list.
Jerry Rice is number 3 with 6,364 yards.
What is Randy Moss? Randy Moss, what, like 7,000 or something?
6,743. Somebody ahead of him just had 41 more yards. 41 more yards. And played pretty close to the same timeline.
So someone is ahead of him
by 41 yards. Yep.
Is it Chris Carter?
It is not Chris Carter. No, Carter started off pretty poorly with Philadelphia. It is not Chris Carter. So same early 2000s. He was a late 90s. Very good wide receiver. Definitely has a Super Bowl. One of the best offenses in the league. Marvin Harrison did not make this list.
Wait, you said one of the best offenses 90s and 2000s. Is it Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt? Is it one of them?
It is one of them. Do you have a pick between which one?
It's Isaac Bruce because he fell off after.
It is Torrey Holt.
Torrey Holt. It's Torrey Holt.
You have Kurt Warner. Those first 5 years where Isaac Bruce, obviously, he started before Warner.
Greatest show on turf.
Yeah, so we have one older gentleman at the bottom. I think he may have. I don't want to get this wrong. He may have had
Michael Irvin.
No, I believe older. I think he might have had one of the biggest games as a wide receiver in NFL history. CH, he is number 10. I'm not sure if that helps you. And then we have everybody else is from 2004 and newer, I believe.
Calvin Johnson.
Megatron. No, this Megatron does not make the list, and Megatron, in my opinion, overrated statistically. Physically a beast. His stats don't hold up as well as many people think. So by this list, we know he was only in the league 9 years, and he didn't have a top 10 first 5 seasons. So with a quarterback that liked to throw the ball a lot. I'll give you a couple of hints here. We have the number 2 wide receiver in history in terms of yards. Made this list at number 7.
Oh, Terrell Owens.
No, not Terrell Owens. He is down at like number 4 now, I believe. We're looking at.
It's on this list.
Who? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Terrell Owens.
He did not.
Number 2 receiver all time.
No, he is not. Terrell, I think, is number 4 all time. The number 2 receiver all time played somewhere very high.
Larry Fitzgerald?
Larry Fitzgerald, number 7, with 5,975 yards. We have Terrell Owens' replacement, I believe, in Cincinnati. I don't believe he played with him. Maybe
AJ Brown. AJ Green?
AJ Green made the list at 6,100 yards. A current player.
That is insane.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't have thought that. Somebody that I believe is not technically retired, but should be retired.
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones, number 4, 6,200. Let's see. Let's go down the list here.
Is Antonio Brown on this list? Because his first year he didn't do anything, and then he took off after.
No, Antonio Brown is not on this list. I don't even think he's in the top 25, to be honest. We have...
Wow.
I'll give you number 10, because I don't know if you'll get it. It is Hennigan, 5,900 yards. Who will be...
Cortland Hennig? No.
I do not
Charles Hennigan?
Charlie Hennigan. So we only have, I believe, 2 left. Somebody that got traded for a first-round pick a couple years ago and went to help a team make the Super Bowl and lose.
A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown did make this list. He is at 5,947. And then we have somebody that you just can't guard. Can't guard me, Mike. is on this list. I don't know if you're familiar with that nickname, but Michael Thomas is number 8 with 5950. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
has not done much since.
Slant Boy.
He has not done much since.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he didn't do much after. He's probably, what, at 6,000 receiving yards right now or something?
Probably. A couple of interesting people that are just missed the list would be D Hop. We do have Megatron, just missing. He's below JJ, T.Y. Hilton, and Cooper Kupp. Odell Beckham, because of those injuries, is way down at 20. He was on pace there, obviously, for a while. So, fun little game there. I was actually surprised. The only reason I brought this up is Justin Jefferson. Before that injury last season, everybody thought he would take that number 1 spot. That does not look like it will be possible without a career year. I mean, not too big of a career. He needs 1,000 yards. With the new quarterback, I think that could be difficult. And we're talking about the NFC North today, so I thought that was worthy of bringing up. But here we go. We're going NFC North. Let's rank them. With number 4, the TikTok Bayless is likely going to go with the Green Bay Packers right over here, but we will find out. No.
In 4th place, we have the Minnesota Vikings. It's the Minnesota Vikings at 4. I think they have the worst quarterback situation in the entire NFC North right now. You look at the Bears, who have who?
I thought you were going the whole NFL for a second.
No, they have the worst QB situation in the NFC North. I have said in the past I'm not a believer in JJ McCarthy. I think when he got drafted, I think he was a 3rd-round pick or a 3rd-round talent at the best. So you have a guy like that. Granted, he has Jordan Addison and he has Justin Jefferson to throw to, and he has TJ Hawkinson. But he's not even going to start right away, first of all, because Sam Darnold has that job to start. Yeah. And who's their running back right now? Is it wait, never mind. It's Aaron Jones. Ignore me. It's Aaron Jones.
I would say but
he's really good, but I don't think that I said this last year. I said that I thought they were going to finish last in the NFC North, and everybody looked at me. The guy was crazy. And the Vikings damn near finished last in the NFC North last year. So I've never been a believer in the Vikings. I was never a believer in Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins never did anything to signal franchise quarterback. And they haven't really had a franchise quarterback since the days of Brett Favre being there. And I don't think it's going to continue with a guy like JJ McCarthy, or definitely not Sam Darnold. So who knows? I don't think this is a scenario where the Vikings.
Yeah,
I like Sam Darnold, but he's not a franchise guy.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go with I like. I don't think it was worthy of signing him. I think they should have went cheaper, but it is what it is. I also agree. The Minnesota Vikings are going to finish 4th. I'm not a big believer in the offense in general. I think JJ is very, very good. I think if you kind of look at a lot of the things that happened, some of his stats are a little misleading, but I think that happens with a lot of wide receivers. He's got a few games that he got a lot of yards that probably wouldn't have happened in different divisions, playing different defenses. That you can't. I guess that's just he plays where he plays. TJ Hawkinson's coming back from a pretty big surgery. He's expected to be back either the week before week 1 or the week after week 1. He could obviously make a faster turnaround. I'm going with a new quarterback. I'm not sold on that. Aaron Jones, very good human being. Probably my favorite person as an NFL player that I have seen news stories about. Maybe Amon Ra is in that conversation as well. And a great running back when he's on the field. He does get banged up fairly consistently, so not something I'm super excited about for the Vikings, especially it's a 1-year deal. This isn't a building thing with Aaron Jones. So Addison did show a couple of flashes. The wide receiver 3, I think it's Powell right now. I don't think that's worthy. So In the defense, they did sign a lot of players. Signing a lot of players doesn't help when you lose your two best pass rushers. Obviously, Harrison is a year older. Um, I know I know a lot of people are excited about the Vikings' chances. It is not me. Number 3 for me, probably a little bit of a surprise considering how hot they finished, but it will be the Green Bay Packers. They had a lot go right for them towards the end of the year last year. I think they revert to the mean. I think they still finish right above 500, but those other two teams in the NFC North, I'm very excited about. So, yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to be mean to Jordan Love, but I think he finished a little higher than he probably will this season. He was on fire. I don't think the wide receivers are as good as they looked. I think Josh Jacobs is a decent to very good running back, but he doesn't catch the ball like Aaron Jones. He's not going to like save them in that way. And then they lost a few pieces on defense in the middle of the season. Rasul Douglas got traded. And so I don't know how the whole team will gel, but I just like the other two teams more. So who's your number 3, Bryce?
I think the Chicago Bears are going to finish in third place. I really do. Caleb Williams is absolutely exceptional. That offense doesn't really have any weaknesses. I think their offense might be a top 5 offense in the entire NFL. I think Caleb Williams may pass for 5,000 yards this year. The big issue with the Bears is on the defensive side of the ball. They have Montez Sweat, yes, but they have Jalen Johnson, yes, TJ Edwards, yes, but outside of that, who do they have? They don't really have much. And also, they have a coach who I think is arguably the most incompetent head coach in the entire NFL in Matt Eberflus. I think they're going to get 7 wins. Caleb Williams is going to pass for 5,000 yards, win Rookie of the Year, but they're not going to pass the Packers. I think, no. The third place is fair for the Bears.
All right, who are you going with that 2? Who are you going to go with that 2, Bryce?
At 2, I think I just mentioned who I was going with the 2 when I said the Green Bay Packers. I honestly think that Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback in the league already. Look at what he did last year with pretty much no receivers. And then you get another year of Jordan Love. You get more experience with Jordan Love. And that defense is a lot better than people think it is. Jair Alexander's a monster. Rashawn Gary's a monster. Preston Smith is a monster. I like Devontae Wyatt. They got Xavier McKinney from the Giants, who is a fantastic move. I think that Jordan Love is going to pass for another 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns again. He's going to lead them to the playoffs, second place with a 10-7 record. And the Packers have their franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years, just like they have for the last 31 years before Jordan Love became their starting quarterback.
Well, obviously I disagreed. I'm not going to disagree that Jordan Love looked spectacular last season, but I just see it reverting to the norm. I could be wrong. Going to my second place team, it will be your first place team, the Detroit Lions. Another player that I think is going to revert to the norm will be Jared Goff. Very good season. Not going to say anything bad. I think they will make the playoffs. And I think a lot of people love that offense. They were, I believe, the highest scoring offense in the league last season. The thing that is hard for me to get over, though, is Amon-Ra, legit talent. Sam Laporta, an outstanding season. Jahmyr Gibbs, super great talent. And Monty, probably the best RB2 in the league. I could be wrong about that, but for my money, I'm probably going there. Wide receiver 2 would be, I'm assuming it has to be JMO at this point.
Jameson's there too.
Yeah, and I haven't seen enough from him to be like, oh, that is a number 2 in this league that should be feared. He has the physical tools. We haven't seen him on the football field. The wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. So outside of those few pieces, they only need 1 or 2 injuries, and they could fall apart quickly. That passing defense needs some big help. I think they were at bottom 5 in the league for passing defense last year. And the great running defense, but this is a passing league, and if they're in situations where the other team can just keep throwing the ball, that could lead to a little more trouble, especially with other teams stepping up. So that's where I would go at my number 2. My number 1 is the Chicago Bears. Like you said, that offense, 0 holes at all. Whether it's Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, you got Komet, Everett, you got Rome, you have a generation talent at quarterback potentially in Caleb Williams. We have a 2-headed running back monster, in my opinion. So maybe even 3. I think it could go 3 deep, actually, maybe. So I really love that offense. The defense, I'm going to actually disagree with you. I think it is an exceptional defense. After they got Montez Sweat last season, they were a top 4 rushing defense, and I believe they were a top 12 passing defense. They have Kevin Byard as well. You didn't mention him. I don't know if you mentioned Edmonds or not. They have plenty of pieces, in my opinion, and if that offense can stay on the field longer, that helps the defense. The reason the Patriots defense looked so good for so long, Tom Brady went up and down the field 20 plays at a time, took the other defense off their toes. They couldn't compete. And then it made your own defense look good because they were fresh. They had a long time between plays, and the other team was pressed to try to have to score. I think people are going to have to score a lot of points against the Chicago Bears. That's why I have them as my number 1. And I am a Caleb Williams truther. So it is what it is. I love the guy. Maybe not all his personality, but enough of it to think he is going to be a top 5 quarterback by the end of the season. So I guess we are going to listen to why the TikTok Bayless wants to be screaming Jared Goff like everybody else at the draft.
I love Caleb Williams. I live in LA, and Caleb Williams' face was all over downtown LA. You couldn't go somewhere without seeing something Caleb Williams. And I think I said he's gonna pass for 5,000 yards. But rookie quarterbacks aren't always going to be like a CJ Stroud where they had it from day one. I think Caleb Williams could struggle a little bit with this new offense because, yes, they got Keenan Allen, but what people fail to realize is he's always hurt. He is hurt. He's never healthy. And who's there after Keenan Allen goes down? It's just DJ Moore, and Darnell Moody's not there anymore. Rome Odunze, 2 rookie. I don't love a rookie receiver quarterback duo to do something if they have to. I'm not looking on them to make a winning impact.
CJ
but
and
I do think 7-10 is
CJ and
that's the exception. That really is the exception. That is. For every exception, for every CJ Stroud, there is a guy like Trevor Lawrence who comes in with these unreal expectations and absolutely shits the bed year
Did
one.
Trevor Lawrence
so
have an
I think, yes.
The Chicago Bears? Anything like it?
No, he didn't. But
in that coaching situation, what the fuck?
That's fair. But Trevor Lawrence was just as hyped as Caleb Williams, if not more hyped than Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a generational quarterback. I think he is. I think you're right. He will be a top 5 quarterback by the end of the year. I think that defense still has too many holes, and I think Matt Eberflus is a bigger issue than people recognize. And I think Matt Eberflus will be the reason that team is held back from being anything special. Now, number 1, I do have the Detroit Lions. I think they do have the best quarterback in the entire division in Jared Goff. Jared Goff has a 65% winning percentage as a starting quarterback. He has been to 3 NFC championships now. He's been to a Super Bowl, and he's proven that he can win anywhere. It's not just Sean McVay is the reason why Jared Goff became as good as he was. Yes, Sean McVay helped, but Jared Goff showed everybody why he was the first overall pick in 2016 now, and he's actually starting to live up to those expectations, and that's why Jared Goff last offseason got a massive contract extension because, yes, he is their franchise quarterback. If you want to be title contenders, Jared Goff has to be under center. And yes, you brought up the fact that Jameson Williams is the number 2, and there's not much. They didn't really have Jameson Williams all last year. He was suspended 6 games, and then he didn't really do anything after. You
They
look,
still have wide receiver too, though.
they had Craig Reynolds last year, who Craig Reynolds is not a wide receiver too, but he was their wide receiver too. And and they made the NFC Championship last year. They did, with pretty much the exact same roster. They did. I'm not Dan Campbell made some boneheaded mistakes that could have changed the fortune of things, but I think if you can get Dan Campbell to try to stop some of those boneheaded go for it aggressiveness, I think we could see a scenario where the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl in 2025. I really think we do. We've already seen them defy odds by winning their first playoff game in 31 years this year, and then having their first home playoff game in 31 years this year. I think this team is going to potentially be the best team in the NFC this year.
That's a big statement. It's not one I agree with, but that's why you get your opinion, and that is the TikTok Bayless. So to recap, I have 4. We both have 4 Vikings. 3 for me is Green Bay. 3 for the TikTok Bayless is the Chicago Bears. 2 for me, Detroit Lions. 2 for the TikTok Bayless is the Green Bay Packers. I have the Chicago Bears winning the division, 17-0. I'm not going that crazy. I'm just making that up. And then the TikTok Bayless has the Detroit Lions going 14-3 and being the best team in the NFC. So we are going to get to our all NFC North team here. And with the first pick, the TikTok Bayless at quarterback is going JJ McCarthy. I now get to pick my quarterback, and I am going to go Jared Goff. All right, now you're running back.
Jared Goff was my number 1 quarterback too, so my quarterback 2 is Jordan Love. So you can't go wrong either way. My running back, I have Josh Jacobs. I think he's the best running back in the division. And if you say Aaron Jones, I'm not going to disagree with you. If you say Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not going to disagree with you. I just think I would go Josh Jacobs over Aaron Jones or Jahmyr Gibbs. And who is your wide receiver 1?
I'm going to actually go running back first. I'm going to take Aaron Jones. If we're going one healthy game, I'm taking Aaron Jones. If we're going a season, I'm going to flip a coin on any of the other running backs. They all have injury problems here and there. So that is what it is. It is running back, though. Wide receiver 1, I just made fun of him a little bit, saying he got really lucky. Either way, it is JJ. There's no way I'm picking anybody else. So your wide receiver 1. I'm guessing it was supposed to be JJ.
Well, it was supposed to be JJ, but I have to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown because I think he's just way too good. He was like a 4th-round pick or something that has turned into arguably a top 10 receiver in the league, top 5 if you want to make the argument. I will agree with you. But he's so damn good when he wasn't really expected to do much at all. I think he is in the perfect situation right now with a quarterback who loves throwing the football. Not many quarterbacks love throwing the football more than Jared Goff does, and he's pretty damn good at throwing the football, and he's in a good offense right now. So I think you have to go Amon-Ra St. Brown as your wide receiver. I would go with my wide receiver 1 because JJ's off the board. So
I was hoping that somehow the sun god would fall and you would just miss him. Obviously, I was not that fortunate. I will let you take wide receiver 2 first here. Who would you like to take of who is left?
I'm going to take DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is the 3rd best receiver in this division. He's super underrated. He went to a Bears offense, and people were not really expecting him to do much. This man quietly had 1,000 yards with Justin Fields being injured and Tyson Bagent throwing to him for 4 games. He's so good. It's hard. You can't discredit this man anymore. He is so damn good.
Yeah, I think he is, between him and the Sun God, I think they're the two most underrated wide receivers maybe in the league. I love them both. I think the only option for me now is Keenan Allen. I don't think I'm missing anybody, but I'm going Keenan Allen here. Wide receiver 3, nobody I'm super excited about. I'm going to be honest about. I'm going to actually take last year's rookie in Addison. and leave you if you want any of the Packers. But you can take the wide receiver 1 for the Packers if you'd like.
I'll take Christian Watson. I think he's the 6th best receiver in the. He might not even be the best receiver on his team. He was just injured last year, so we didn't really get a big enough sample size. I do like Bo Melton, Romeo Dobbs. It's a crapshoot. Any of those receivers. There's a reason why no Packers receivers are on this all NFC North team for a reason. A reason. They're good, but they're not on the level that Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, just DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, or Jordan Addison are. Nowhere close.
And I think going into this, by mid-season, Rome will be on that list. But we will see, though. He's going to have a hard time getting a lot of targets. That'll be the issue for him. But, yeah we'll see what happens. You get to go tight end 1.
I'm going to go Hawk. TJ Hawkinson. You have to go TJ Hawkinson. I think he is the best receiver. He's the best tight end in the division. If you want to say Sam Laporta, I will not argue with you. It's either TJ Hawkinson or it's Sam Laporta. That is the only option you realistically have for your number 1 tight end in the NFC North.
And I will happily take Sam Laporta. I think that season last year for a rookie tight end was historic. Simply historic. He was actually a very, very good blocker in the run game. The pass game, not so well. TJ Hawkinson coming off the injury, I have some questions about, but yeah, I mean, they're both top-notch tight ends. Of course, both drafted by Detroit, so who had a history of bad tight end choices over and over again. Do you want to go offensive line or defense?
Offensive line, I'll start. I will go with the Detroit Lions. They have Penei Sewell, who's probably a top 5 tackle in the entire league. They have Frank Ragnow, who is the most underrated center. They have Taylor Decker, who is an underrated tackle. Like, they have 3 of the starting 5 offensive linemen on my all NFC North team. Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, and Taylor Decker. Like, their offensive line is just so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take the Vikings because I think those 3 can compare to them. I think the guards for the Vikings are not as good, which is the issue for me. But Darisaw, I think, is elite. And Brian O'Neill, I think, very close to elite. I don't want to talk too negatively about the center. I think he's slightly overrated, but compared to the rest of the teams, I feel very comfortable there.
He's the second best center in the NFC North.
Yeah,
he is. There's not really that many.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not saying much, so I feel like it kind of goes down. But defense-wise...
It's Frank Ragnow and then a drop-off.
Yeah, I think you're right. Personally, I think you're very correct. Center. Now I'm going off on a little tangent here. Defense. I am not going Green Bay. I'm not going Minnesota. I'm not going Detroit. So I have to go Chicago. And all the other defensive have major holes. So I'm taking the Chicago Bears for my defense. And I don't even think it's close, to be honest. I think talent-wise, you can try to make an argument for the Vikings. Maybe that's what you're going to try to do. But they've not played together. They have a lot of their 2 best players left, and they got one of the players that they got rid of because they got Danielle Hunter in Cashman. So I feel like I'm very happy taking the Chicago Bears defense.
I have the Packers defense. I think they have Rashawn Gary. They have Rashawn Gary, who's arguably a top 5 pass rusher in the entire league. They have Preston Smith, who's underrated. They have Kenny Clark, who might be the best defense. Yeah, Rashawn Gary came back from a torn ACL and was like elite already at pass rushing last year. And then Preston Smith is an underrated pass rusher. Packers might have the best defensive tackle in the league by a man by the name of Kenny Clark. They have a good defensive tackle in Devontae Wyatt. Quay Walker is underrated. I think Kenny Clark is a tiny bit better than Chris Jones. They have Jair Alexander, who might be the best corner in the entire NFC North. You have Xavier McKinney, who might be the most underrated free safety in the entire league. I think there's a scenario the Packers dominate the other defenses in the NFC. I don't think there's a scenario where the Packers allow more than 25 scored on them when they play the NFC North.
Oh, Caleb is going to put up 30 easy.
No.
McCarthy, he'll get lucky. They'll be lucky. They won't score 10 points. But, yeah, I don't know. I've seen the Packers. They get touted on defense very often. Jair, number one cornerback in the league. Number one. He's hurt. He's gone. This and that. You had the Smith brothers a couple years ago. Best linebacking duo, pass rushing duo in the NFL. They fell off a massive cliff. I just see it happening again. But we'll see what happens. I appreciate that you in Green Bay. It makes me feel a lot better. If you guys have not seen, you guys can watch our teams from the AFC East on TikTok. That will be live as of last Friday. And then this will be live. This man game will be live as of this Friday. So a couple days from now. So hope everybody is enjoying that. TikTok Bayless, do you have anything else to add?
Thanks, guys. I hope you liked the pod. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I didn't say anything. I don't know what happened.
Oh. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you did, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and if you don't like our sports takes, well, you can just mind your business.
Thank you, everybody.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. You guys are great, as always. Peace.